Start with a fledgling town, or name it yourself, and build it into a metropolis. Or take on the challenge of rescuing a city overwhelmed with problems. Either way, taxes, zoning, crime, transportation, education, fire control, and other critical issues are in your hands. Time is passing, and every decision you make has a future consequence. Your assistant, Dr. Wright, can help you make the right decisions. Just ask. Surprise catastrophes also threaten your growing city. Fire, earthquakes, airplane crashes, even a giant Koopa who has a nose for industrial pollution. Will you build the ideal city, or will disgruntled citizens leave you with a ghost town? And this is SimCity from Intelligent Systems and Nintendo, 1991. Of course, it's part of the SimCity franchise, and of course, you probably all know a great deal about it. The first game in the series, SimCity, which this is a port of, was published by Maxis in 1989. Its immediate success sparked the creation of several sequels and other spin-off Sim titles, including The Sims, which is almost 20 years old by now. And this has become a best-selling computer game and franchise, SimCity in whole. In SimCity, we take a section of undeveloped land and take control over it. We decide where we're going to place our developmental zones, infrastructure like roads and power plants, landmarks, public services such as schools, parks, hospitals, and fire stations. We determine the tax rate, the budget, and social policy. The city being populated by Sims, simulated persons, who live in the city that is created by the player. The three development zone types are the major areas in which Sims inhabit: residential for housing and apartment, commercial for shops and offices, industrial for factories, warehouses, labs, and farms. There's no particular win condition in a game of SimCity. The balancing act of all the above-mentioned factors provide the constraints which make the gameplay possible. To maximize population or profitability, to recreate real-life locations in-game, achieve an aesthetic design, or to trigger as many natural disasters as possible are among the many possible goals one can determine for oneself while playing a SimCity game. The SimCity universe is loosely based on 20th century California urbanization, and all editions have some common thematic elements. In a new game, players start from an undeveloped green field, cars are the default form of transportation, and earthquakes happen. The player, acting as the mayor, is given a blank map to begin and must expand the city with the budget provided. As the city matures, the player may get to place government and other special buildings, such as a mayor's house or courthouse, depending on how large the city is. The player must then supply the citizens with services, which include health, education, safety, parks, and leisure. These come in the form of different buildings, where each building covers a circular range of service. Inadequate funding of these services can lead to strikes. Cities must also provide basic utilities, namely electricity and water, and in SimCity 3004, waste management. The primary source of income is taxation, which can be altered by 1% increments in all versions up to SimCity 3000, and by tenths of a percent in SimCity 4. Legalizing gambling, for example, and placing certain special buildings, such as military bases or federal prisons, can generate income as well, and the player may also make deals with neighboring cities to sell or buy services, as long as a connection is made to that neighbor for the service. This feature was introduced in SimCity 3000. The game, of course, has spawned many sequels and many different variants of the game itself. We are going to be looking, of course, at the Super Nintendo version, which is very, very similar to the original computer version, but has some unique features. Reward buildings can be built as they are given to the mayor, like a mayor's mansion and casino. A monster that sometimes attacks the city or is released upon the cities by their mayor is Bowser from the popular Nintendo game series Super Mario Bros. And when a player achieves Megalopolis status, they are gifted a Mario statue. There are also two other console versions. There's SimCity 64, which is much like SimCity 2000, and SimCity Creator for the Wii and DS. There is also, I do believe, because I believe I owned it, a SimCity 2000 title for the PlayStation. There are some portable versions as well, though as much as I would love a portable SimCity, I think it would be horrendous to play portable, and there's also a huge number of spin-offs as well. According to Maxis, the SimCity series has sold above 5 million units, and that was by February 1999 at the time of SimCity 3000's release. Again, almost 20 years ago. SimCity, the original SimCity, is not my favorite SimCity. That is either going to have to go to 2000 or 3000, and I grew up with 2000. I didn't play the original because I didn't have it. Played the heck out of 2000, got 3000, played the heck out of 3000. and it's just kind of gone away since then. I never really liked 4 much, and the new stuff that they're doing with it, where you've got to be online all the time and all that, I don't love it. It's been kind of taken up for me by City Skylines, which I'm still getting the hang of, but let me tell you, if you just want to sit down and start playing and have a great time designing some cities, and you want to do it on a Super Nintendo, not that there's a lot of option, but SimCity is your best bet for sure. It holds up extremely well.